So I literally just finished my video and uploaded the video and made it public on the US State Department releasing the report on the human rights abuses of the South African government. In that video, I said that I think what the US is after is regime change. And one of the reasons I believe the US wants regime change in South Africa I'll get into in this video. But my words have not even had time to relax. And South Africa is already back on the menu, boys. Like we're getting right back up on that horse, going, you know what? Since we're already you know, peeving the Americans, let's go again. Let's see how far we can actually push this. No one should act surprised at all that the Americans and very soon the rest of the world, because this will happen throughout the whole world. Right now, it's the Americans. Trump and America appears to be a little bit ahead of the rest of the world. But if South Africa continues down this road, if South Africa continues to make friends with some of the worst regimes imaginable, and do not for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, try to pretend like Iran are just misunderstood. This is a regime that slaughters Christians in Iran. In fact, it's gotten so bad that the Christian population has dwindled to barely worth mentioning in Iran. This is a government that kills and slaughters its own people. Just FYI. And before anyone points out the Tucker Carlson interview about how he spoke to this Iranian Christian, the Iranian Christian doesn't even live in Iran, by the way. And when you actually listen to stories from Christians in Iran, they tell a very different story about what life in Iran is actually like. Because life in Muslim countries for Christians basically goes something like this: you pay a special tax, which is called the submission tax, right? Which basically means you've submitted. And since Islam just means to submit, that is deemed fine. Then, whenever something goes really bad, whenever, life doesn't go your way, they need someone to blame. They blame the Christians. They go in and they slaughter everyone. So you sort of go through these cycles of life's pretty decent and then it isn't. But I mean, this regime in Tehran doesn't just kill Christians, it kills everyone, right? Even its own people hate the regime. The caliphate or whatever in Tehran don't lead by a majority of the population supporting it. It leads through fear, violence, and military coercion. That is how it keeps its power, and it will not relent it under any circumstances, which is why so many Iranians actually welcomed Israel and the Americans bombing the government of Iran, because they're desperate for someone to hear their pleas and to help them get out. Now South Africa is desperate to get back into bed. Right? And what's so insane is that Iran literally quotes one of their reasons for wanting to work with South Africa is, well, there's so much between us, right? So, for example, he says here, pointing to the political commonalities between the two nations, he emphasized the importance of leveraging the shared interests to strengthen bilateral, regional, and international cooperation. What political commonalities might he be referring to? Iran is a dictatorship. South Africa, as far as I'm aware, is not. South Africa still has the semblance of human rights. As far as I'm aware, Iran does not. What exactly is the commonality? I'll tell you what the commonality is. The commonality is South Africa doesn't actually have a great human rights track record. South Africa is, in fact, a dictatorship. But most importantly, South Africa hates America as much as Iran does. Now, Iran is effectively a state on a suicide mission. They will kill all of their own people in order to bring the imperialist Americans to their knees. But of course, I guess our government will too. That's what the ANC has been after this whole time. Up until now, though, the ANC has mainly taken charge on America, right? And the rest of the world doesn't really care. For the rest of the world, America, not that big of an issue. No one likes Trump, right? I like Trump, but most people in the world don't like Trump, or at least most leaders in the world don't like Trump. That's been fine. Now South Africa is starting to play a very different game. If we align ourselves with Tehran, if we align ourselves with the caliphate and the incredibly evil government of Iran, we risk alienating the entire world. We will be left only capable of really trading with our own BRICS nations. And when you look at what Trump is doing with Russia, when you look at the pressures that Trump is applying to India, there might very soon come a magnificent shift throughout the world. People who don't, or most people don't know this, but Russia and China are not natural allies. In fact, the Russians generally hate the Chinese, and the Chinese generally hate the Russians. They're not two countries that like each other. Their history is actually one of invasion. It's one of not great relationships. They're really an alliance of necessity. They need each other, otherwise they stand alone, and so they are. I have said before, and I'll continue to maintain this, I think what Trump is trying to do, one of the reasons Trump hasn't been that hard on Putin, one of the reasons Trump has tried to find a way to establish peace with Putin in such a way that Putin is happy as well, I think is because Trump is trying to invite Putin into the arms of the West. Putin has wanted to be part of the West for a long time. He already approached the Americans back in 2001, I believe, to join NATO. He was denied because, of course, America needed a boogeyman, and Russia was a great boogeyman because they could say, "Oh, what is Russia doing? More money to the defense contractors, please." So they needed that boogeyman, but Russia would be an amazing ally. More importantly, you get Russia, you automatically get India because India and Russia are very good trading partners. India would drop China in a heartbeat because India is starting to become an opponent to China when it comes to manufacturing as well as economic strength. So India would gladly leave and go wherever Russia goes. But most importantly, you end up sort of isolating China in a way where you can get the Chinese to basically do whatever you want. South Africa will then find itself very much on the outs, right? And I think that's sort of what Trump is after. Either force regime change here in South Africa, and this might happen actually if we start doing stuff with Iran. Yeah, that's not good. We should not be doing this. I don't know why we're doing this, but let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this. It's insane, but here we are. As always, right? If you want more people to find honest and rational conversations, please consider hitting the like button, hitting that subscribe button, and letting me know in the comment section down below what you think, because it really does help. Of course, I don't bring you unbiased news. I bring you the facts and then a lot of biased opinions because, well, I'm human. That's just how it works. Massive shout out and big thank you to all of the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for all of your support. It means the absolute world to me. To become a patron or a YouTube channel member, just link in the description down below or the little button right below this video that says join. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.